Good afternoon, friends. Since last video, I told you all that I was gonna maybe pull back from doing twin flame stuff and maybe start looking more into the false twin flames, because as I said, there's not enough information out there about it. There's not about what you go through and all that with it. So I've been doing research since then, and something came up, a term came up that I hadn't heard before and had kind of looked into now, because it just was something I'd never heard of. And that is the narcissistic false twin flame. So there's a lot of stuff that overlaps with the false twin flame and the narcissistic twin flame. What it seems like to me is more like the narcissistic false twin flame is calculated stuff, whereas the false twin flame, it's not. It just kind of happens. But with that said, there is something that happens with a narcissistic twin flame. It's one of the last things as far as a definition, and that is they may or may not be aware of the fact that they are selfish. And so when I say the things seem more calculated, they could be, but they may be unaware of it. The reason that they're unaware of this, they may or may not know that they are this thing, is because of what they've been through in their past. They're from childhood and relationships, and so this is more almost like a self-preservation, that they have become this person as a result of what's happened to them, and they just don't know. One of the things that for a narcissistic false twin flame and a false twin flame is that they're unable to give unconditional love. If they didn't receive it from childhood, they didn't receive it in relationships they were in with the partners they were with, then how can they give it when they don't have any clue of really what it is? So therefore, they know they want it. They want it as badly as you want it, but they don't know how to give it. And so could be why they stay with you maybe as long as they do, because you're giving them something that they've never experienced. Could be scary to them. So it could be a reason why they pull back. Could be the reason why you've got a little bit of runner chaser type of a deal, which is, at the end of the day, not even really runner chaser. It's them just pulling away because they're just pulling away. But here's a definition of a narcissistic false twin flame. The narcissistic false twin flame is the complete opposite of a narcissist who is vain or overconfident about their looks. They lack true empathy and require admiration, affection, and attention, things they never received. They didn't receive true empathy from a child and into their relationships. They didn't get the admiration. They didn't get the affection. They didn't get the attention. Their partners feel they are tied down to their whims after being snared. They are excellent manipulators and take advantage of every emotional opening you have. They've done that because of how they were done in the past. That's the sad thing. It's truly sad and sickening to me. It makes me sick to my stomach to think that they become this because of what was done to them. There is telepathy between you and them. There is that capability of it happening. And again, they're incapable of providing unconditional love. Hard to give what you've never received, and you don't know. You don't have a good example of it in order to give it. Now, these are signs. Doesn't mean that all of them have to apply for this to be that. Doesn't mean that. These are just the signs that I found in the research. You are living in a toxic deja vu, meaning that you're having the same fights, arguments, and disagreements over and over and over again about the same things. You feel like you're working overtime to literally pull out their emotional side. Of course, they're going to keep that hidden based off of what's happened in the past. And, I'm going to get I'll get to this in a minute. They keep you at arm's length, meaning they're only going to let you come in the way they want you to, for the length of time they want you to, where they're going to dictate everything, where you meet, what y'all go and do, how long they're with you, all that. They're going to dictate that. They're going to dictate that. You make excuses for their crappy behavior. Okay, so they're doing these things, and maybe other people are seeing it and they're confronting you with it, and you're making an excuse. Oh, it's because of what happened in their past. It's the trauma they've experienced. When I tell you that the things that I've said so far about that they've done these things as a result of their past, I'm not making an excuse for them. I'm giving you a fact. It's not. It's kind of conflicting with this as far as this being a sign. Because if they truly don't know that they are this, then it's not making an excuse for them. You're giving a fact. If they're aware of it, that they are this, and they're doing these things on purpose, then you are making an excuse for them. But then that goes into the pool of, do they know or do they not know? I truly feel, just feels from my gut, just deep within me. I think the number of individuals that are this, that they just have no clue. They don't know. If you confronted them about it, I think they would lose their shit. They would go off on you because they couldn't accept that that's what they are. The very thing that they have fought against maybe their whole life, but in actuality they become, because they've had to keep themselves safe. So I personally believe, and I just feel it just within every bone in my body, that 99.9% of these people, they have no clue. They have no clue. They're seeing other people or thinking of being with other people. Now, I believe with this also applies to when you're saying being with other people. This can be, they fantasize about an ex, they're constantly thinking about an ex, they've got somebody in their past that maybe they were, maybe not in a relationship with, but they had some kind of connection and they can't let them go. They're constantly thinking about them, they pop up all the time. Not their twin flame, but it's just somebody they can't let go of. Maybe when things get a little uncomfortable with you, they're able to go to this person in their head and it brings them some kind of different tingly feeling or whatever, and that's how they make it through things. Survival mode. What they say and do are two totally different things. The unconditional love you give isn't returned. I think we all know why. They sound like a completely different person around others, especially people they know. They bring out the worst in you. You're constantly trying to live up to their unrealistic expectations. The relationship has consumed all your energy. Kind of like an energy vampire type thing, I believe. You are giving up parts of your identity to match theirs. Now, with that, this is something like you're giving up your morals, your values, like your beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, your religious beliefs in general. A lot of people, now I'm thinking about it, is if you're aware of twin flame and you're thinking this is your twin flame, so you are thinking maybe they're me and I'm them, so therefore I have to be everything that they are to be them because they're me. And so I'm gonna believe what they believe. I'm gonna do what they do. I'm gonna eat what they eat. I'm gonna become them because after all, they're me, or I'm them. So that could be a situation there that's really kind of unhealthy. You still are you're still an individual, and that doesn't mean that you have to go literally become them. So no, you completely abandon boundaries. They eat away at your self-esteem because of the low quality interactions between you two. Not going to be any depth or anything. They find it easy to let you down. They are self-centered. You are always feeling as if you are not in a partnership with them. They won't go deep with you in conversations. They just won't go into the emotional stuff. They won't talk about past, that kind of thing. They don't want to commit. They don't see you as an equal, and you are always left questioning where you stand with them. So, with that said, what do? Well, you make a checklist. You sit down and you make a checklist. You write down, you do the research. If this is something that's bothering you, it's on your mind, then you need to really take the time and energy and do the work. Do the research and write down a piece of paper. Write down the signs that you find. For if you're interested with the narcissistic twin flame, false twin flame, write those down. False twin flame, write those down. Write down the true twin flame signs. If you've done research already on what a twin flame is, you know the signs. So you may not even have to write those down. But the other two, you may have to. Maybe you don't need to write down the narcissistic false twin flame. Maybe you just need to go with the false twin flame. If they're starting to get more check marks in either of these two or both of these two together, that's not your twin flame. It's not. And that's painful. It's very painful. But then you need to do what you need to do for you. But here's the thing. You've got to love them. You've got to love them. After all, if you've been with them for any length of time, you already love them. Because you wouldn't be with them if you didn't love them. On some level. So love them for who they are as a person. Understand that maybe if you find that it's a narcissistic false twin flame, they may not even know it. They may not know it. Love them and pray for the people that have done this to them, that they don't do that to anybody else. We got to do better as a society than to do this to our children, to do this to the people we're in a relationship with, that we end up turning other human beings into this and make them have to become this for the rest of their life, because maybe for the rest of their life they're unwilling to change. And I did do research and found that they can change, but they have to really come to terms with the fact that they are this, and that they have to be willing to do the work to change. But there again, think about it. If you tell somebody this, how are they going to react? And, they're doing this to begin with out of safety. You come at them with that, that's taking that safety at a whole different level. So it's a sad and unfortunate situation, it is. But you inevitably have to do what you have to do for you. So I hope this kind of opens up sheds some new light on some things for you, and maybe helps you to start sitting down and maybe saving yourself some pain in the long run by doing the work and then starting to heal for you and living for you. After all, both of these come into your life to prepare you for your true twin flame. Everything I've read, everything I've seen on it, it's one of the first things it said. They come into your life to prepare you for your true twin flame. So